Naruto is better than One Piece. Mushoku Tensei is better than Jujutsu Kaisen. Sword Art Online is better than Dragon Ball. And I know what most of you are thinking right now. This guy's takes are trash. And I'm about to dislike the hell out of this video. Maybe you're already calling me names. Maybe you're telling me to jump off a bridge. However, if you stick around for a little longer, I'm gonna prove to you that the anime you call a masterpiece isn't actually good. I know you might be losing it right now, but calm down, buddy. Calm down. No need to send me threats to my business email. Finish the video first, then you can send me the threats, alright? To do that, I want to use two anime as examples. One that's been loved for generations, Dragon Ball, and another one known only by me and maybe 10 other people, and 5 of those are my relatives. Kuma 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 Bear. And yes, that's a joke. This anime is actually known by a lot of people, but between the two, we all know which one's better, right? Kuma Kuma Kuma. This anime is basically about a girl who's addicted to a VR MMORPG called World Fantasy Online, who suddenly gets transported into the game not as a player, but as an actual person. But here's the twist, she walks around dressed as a cute bear. It's basically Sword Art Online, but better. Now you might be wondering what possible basis I have to say this anime is better than Dragon Ball, and ultimately I'm using the exact same basis everyone else uses. Alright, let me introduce you to Saito. This guy loves Dragon Ball. If you ask him whether it's a good anime, he'll say, of course, Dragon Ball is awesome. Now let me ask you something. When Saito says Dragon Ball is awesome, isn't he just expressing an opinion? In the same way, someone else could say, nah, Dragon Ball isn't that good. So which one of these is more valid than the other? Neither. Both are valid to the person making the statement. Now I know narrative criteria exist. Professional reviews are often based on organized sets and narrative criteria. Things like character development, plot coherence, originality, pacing, tonal logic, and all that stuff I don't like in my trash anime. And yes, you can absolutely use those concepts to argue whether Dragon Ball is good or not, and that's fair. However, it's still not objective. It might be quote-unquote objective within these human-created frameworks, but those frameworks themselves are nothing more than products of the human mind, not fundamental truths of existence. Alright, it might sound like I'm just spitting a bunch of random shit to confuse you. You know the old saying, right? If you can't beat them, confuse them. But I'm not. It's actually pretty simple to understand. Let's talk about human extinction. Imagine a huge meteor hits Earth and everyone goes extinct, just like the dinosaurs. Finally, they got their revenge. A ton of media would still exist for quite a while, like a store with hundreds of manga on the shelves. And imagine on one of those shelves, there's a Dragon Ball volume. So I ask you again, would this Dragon Ball volume be good or bad? If your answer is one of those two, I'll ask you this, according to who? There's no one around to decide what makes it good or bad, my boy. Everyone's dead. There's no human criteria left for anyone to base it on and say it's good or bad. Because a truly objective truth exists outside our minds, it doesn't depend on human-created criteria. For example, gravity exists. That's an objective fact. We could give it different names. Someone calls it gravity, someone else might call it, I don't know, gravure. But no matter what we call it, the fact remains. It exists. It doesn't depend on our minds to be there. So gravity and its consequences are objective. On the other hand, a subjective truth depends on one or more people's experience or opinion. And without the human mind, there would be no narrative criteria at all. And even if you use these human-created concepts to analyze a story, one question will always remain. Did you like it? Full Metal Alchemist, for example, can be considered a masterpiece if we analyze it using certain narrative criteria. But if you don't like it, you're not gonna watch it, will you? If you feel better watching, I don't know, Demon Lord 2099, that's what you're gonna watch. Because at the end of the day, all these concepts and rules are human inventions for analyzing stories, and human-created criteria cannot and will never make anything objectively good or bad. So I'll say the same thing I said in the title. No anime is good, just like no anime is bad, better, or worse, except through human intervention by people subjectively saying so. Without human agency, art in any shape or form has no value or meaning. It simply is. So next time you feel the urge to call anyone names just because they're criticizing something you enjoy, remember this: people are more than just a single opinion, and whatever opinion they may have about the shows you like or dislike, that's all they are, subjective statements. And also, just one last thing before I can finish this video. Shut up, bro. Go read a basic philosophy book. Stop being such a pussy.